What's the deal, young world? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, man. So look, I came across this video, man, years ago, man. Actually, I'm gonna say this guy. His name is Rod Pickens, Pickens. I came across one of his videos, I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago. God uses him just like he'll use anybody else who's faithful to him, you know, including you. If you're faithful to him, he can use you to warn the rest of humanity, you know, about the impending dangers, okay? Now, I chose this specific video, because he's talking about lusting. He's talking about sex. Now, in case y'all don't know, man, I'm gonna school y'all on something today, man. Sex is considered the highest form of worship on the planet, okay? It's the highest form of pleasure that you can get, okay? So he finna go into talking about how people fantasize about stuff. Man, check him out.
Listen, God bless you. My name is Rod Pickens from the Out of Body Experience video. I believe that God has given me a message for the nation of men. A very powerful dream. And if you listen and take heed, I believe that it has the power to save. God had gave me the dream on August 29th at 6 a.m. And he gave me a dream. I was in a big house. And the house was more of a party environment. It was a party setting. The lights were dim. I'm sitting on the couch, and there was men and women couples sitting around the couches around the entire room. And upstairs, there were many rooms, and in each room, there was a different couple in there. So this dream was more like a place where fantasies get fulfilled. And so whatever your fantasy was mentally or deep in your heart, this was the place where all of those were fulfilled. And very dark. And in the midst of me observing where I was, I heard a knock on the door. And so I get up. I open the door, and outside of the door were a line full of women. And I had a choice to invite them in or to make them stay outside. So I end up inviting them in. And when all the women came in, I noticed that one of the women was actually my fantasy. I approached her. I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to run game. I didn't have to say any words to her. She willingly grabbed my hand, and we began to sit down. So she grabs my hand, and we go to the couch and take a seat. And in the middle of me talking to her, she takes off all her clothes. And I did not know it was going to turn this fast. And so, and I remember her telling me these words. She said, "Come, taste of my flesh. It's sweet." And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "Come, taste of my flesh. It's sweet." And so I had a decision to make, and I ended up giving in. And so I tasted of her flesh, and I said, "Oh my goodness," I said, "it's sweet." And at the moment that I tasted of her flesh, my perversion went to a level that I've never thought it could go. And I knew my perversion had went to a crazy and very deadly place, because in the middle of me tasting of her flesh, I found out that she had a male private area and a female private area. And at the point when I saw it, because I was so perverted, I didn't care. I said, and matter of fact, my exact words were, "It don't matter. I came this far already. I ain't gonna worry about it." So I continue to give in. And I continue to eat of her flesh, and because the sweetness was very enticing. And so at the moment, and keep in mind that whatever your fantasy was, the woman would fulfill. And so the women all around the room, even upstairs with the men, whatever they thought in their mind, whatever fantasy they envisioned in their mind, the woman did without them asking. And so we get to a point now where me and the woman was getting more intimate. And whatever was on my mind, she manifested. Whatever I thought, that's what she did. And so in the middle of me going down such a sinful path, I heard a great thunder outside. And the thunder was so loud that it woke me up out of my sleep in sin. And so I came to myself and I went to the door because I was afraid of what this sound was. And so I go to the door and I open up the door, and in the middle of the skies was a gray smoke that was covering up the skies. And when I first saw it, it terrified me because I didn't know what this was. You know, I've never seen the smoke go across the skies. It looked like it was trying to cover the skies. And so I called my dad. And I said, Dad, and in the dream, he was a police officer. And I said, Dad, have you heard about or seen what's going on in the skies? And my dad's words were, son, it's okay. They're fixing it. It'll be all over soon. He said, don't go outside. Just close the door. I said, okay. So, of course, I'm shutting the door, and I'm turning back around. And because I'm for ready to tell all the men and women about what's going on outside. And so the moment I turn around, all the women were gone. And so I thought I was losing my mind because I'm standing at the door, the only way in and the only way out. And I turned around, all the women gone. And I knew it was crazy because all the men that were upstairs came running downstairs because they asked, what's going on? All the women disappeared. And I thought I was losing my mind. And so everybody in the house terrified. And so I go by the stairs and I see my son crawling down the stairs. And so I get him, I pick him up. And I hear a whole bunch of screaming going on outside. And so I grab my son and I go outside, even though my dad told me not to. I go outside with my son on my shoulder. And the moment I walk outside of the door, a mighty wind blew and rushed against my body, which caused me to fall. And I ended up throwing my son in the air. And the moment I threw him in the air, he vanished. He vanished in the middle of nowhere. And I began to scream and cry out, where's my son? Where's my son? And I see my son, and nobody paid me attention because everybody was already panicking outside. We didn't know what was going on. But when I looked at the skies, that little piece of smoke that I saw was just the beginning. The little small smoke, it actually began to cover the entire skies. And it was very dark. And people were screaming, they were panicking. And I was like, what's going on? And I heard there was one person in the crowd that was crying. And I said, hey, what's going on? And the man said, man, we messed up. We messed up. I said, what you mean we messed up? He said, Jesus came back. He came back. He took his people. We got left behind. And I immediately ran into the middle of the street and yelled, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I cried out so loud, Jesus, Jesus. And to the point I began to cry. I was like, Jesus, Jesus. I'm like, Jesus. And I could see the glow of the presence of God in the sky, but it looked like it was leaving. And the more the Spirit of God was being uplifted from the earth, the colder and darker the earth got. And I kept crying out, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I kept calling his name, and I was praying. It was like he heard me, but he ignored me. And I said, Lord, this is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream. I was like, wake up, wake up, wake up. But I could not wake up. I was preaching, man, scratching myself. I was doing whatever I could to wake up. But I